Alright, what is up you guys? I'm here continuing my Wrestlemania reviews, and today we're here to talk about Wrestlemania 29. I'll tell you what, I almost went to this pay-per-view. I was very close. I decided not to, and I'm really glad. I am. This was in MetLife Stadium. We have the New York, New Jersey gimmick. Do love the DVD cover, I'll give it that. And we do have the nice urn as a tribute, so I did like that. So the Hall of Fame this year, we had Booker T, Donald Trump, Trish Stratus, Bob Backlund, Mick Foley, and Bruno Sammartino. Very deserving, Bruno Sammartino. I'm glad they finally got him to go in. And it's more on his part, you know. So, presentation-wise, this was great. You know, it had a beautiful stage. You had the Statue of Liberty over top the ring. And just a great picture there. I love that. And you can see kind of the setup there. So, yeah, packed stadium. Great setup, great design. But let's get into the matches themselves. So, to open this up, we had the six-man tag team match. Randy Orton, Sheamus, and Big Show versus The Shield. Kind of just a very throwaway match. You know, it was good for what it was. You know, it put The Shield over, so it did what it had to do. It did its job. But really nothing to write home about for this match. It kind of just felt like a Raw main event, to be honest. And then, forgot to mention before this, we had Chris Christie on Rebuilding from Superstorm Sandy. So, that was a thing before this. So, yeah. And then we get a special look at the Rock and John Cena promo. And then Ryback versus Mark Henry. Talk about the most useless match you could possibly have booked. Like, this is just... Did anyone want to see this? Did anyone actually want to see Ryback versus Mark Henry? Come on. And then the ending was just awful. Like, I thought they botched it. Like, I just don't know what they were thinking. No, like, yeah, Ryback was kind of still in his early stages here, you know, after Nexus and all that. But, you know, this match just felt like the opening to, like, a Payback pay-per-view, or like another B pay-per-view, so Capital Punishment or something. So next up we had the WWE Tag Team Championship, Daniel Bryan and Kane versus Dolph Ziggler and Big E Langston. This match was alright. You know, this was Daniel Bryan really gaining momentum with the audience and the fans. You know, this really was a step towards WrestleMania 30. And I did talk about that during my WrestleMania 30 review. You know, once again, this wasn't a great match by any means. You know, we had Big E Langston's debut. So it's a good debut match. But I really think on this pay-per-view we should have had the Dolph Ziggler cash-in. I know it went great on Raw. Fantastic moment. But I really feel like it would have just elevated this pay-per-view. But we'll get to that a little later here. So, not a bad match. You know, we had Daniel Bryan and Kane retaining the titles. And then we had another debut. Chris Jericho versus Fandango. Fandango, whatever. Kind of another strange WrestleMania match to book. I feel like, you know, I understand you want to put Fandango over, but look at him now, in retrospect. So, you want to put him over, that's fine. You know, have a match with Chris Jericho at WrestleMania and win. That's about as big of a debut as you can have. So, good for him, but it's just not a WrestleMania-worthy match. Like, just a lot of the matches on here just don't feel like WrestleMania. So, you know, once again, it wasn't a great match. It was good. You know, it was a good starting point for his career. You know, it's always great to see Chris Jericho at WrestleMania, but Just wasn't needed. And then we have Alberto Del Rio versus Jack Swagger for the World Heavyweight Championship. We had the surprise win at Elimination Chamber for Jack Swagger, which is fine. This match, your average world title match. And this is when the World Heavyweight Championship really meant jack shit, to be honest. Which is unfortunate, because that's my favorite belt. But, you know, once again, it just didn't feel like a WrestleMania-worthy match. This felt like a world title match that would have been held at Payback or Money in the Bank, you know? Fucking... it was frustrating at the time. But, you know, it wasn't a bad match. You know, they gave what they could. So, credit to them. You know, it's not really their faults, but just could have been a lot better. And then we have Match of the Night, which isn't really saying anything, but we have Undertaker versus CM Punk. To me, this is the only match that was actually great on this card. This was fantastic. You know, CM Punk and Undertaker, the storyline was pretty controversial, but I'm a fan of controversial. You know, to me, there's really no taking it too far. So, this was great. You know, with Paul Bearer, of course, you know, just capitalizing on his death. A lot of people would say, oh, that was terrible, controversial, whatever. It did heighten the storyline, and it got people talking. So it did its job. And this match also did its job. This was The Undertaker's final WrestleMania win before the streak ended. And what a way to go out. This was, you know, even with CM Punk obviously not being a fan of the booking of this, they both tore the house down. This was one of Undertaker's best WrestleMania matches. And, you know, I'd say one of his top 5 easily. And then next up we had, of course, the no-holds-barred match, Triple H versus Brock Lesnar. I was looking forward to this. I thought this was going to be pretty good, actually. I was one of the few people that liked their SummerSlam 2012 match. I know some people didn't. But this match just was kind of disappointing. You know, you had the if Triple H loses, he must retire stipulation. That pretty much just gave away the ending. I don't think you needed that. But it didn't really feel like much of a no-holds-barred match. It was very just kind of slow and not the good kind, as I keep saying in these reviews. It just wasn't up to pace of what it could have been, and really should have been for WrestleMania. I preferred all their other matches over this one. You know, the Steel Cage match was great at Extreme Rules, and I thought the SummerSlam match was good. So, just a mediocre, average match, unfortunately. And then finally we had Twice in a Lifetime, son of a bitch. You know, WrestleMania 28, once in a lifetime. Once in a lifetime. This was not needed. You have The Rock versus John Cena for the WWE title. You know, WrestleMania 28's main event, it wasn't the greatest main event of all time, but it did have meaning to it. To have these two larger-than-life people meeting in the ring for the first time. It was special. And it did feel like it was a once-in-a-lifetime moment. And then just to come back here and do it again, and not even have a match as good as their first one, this was just... I really think if you were going to do this, throw CM Punk in there. And then just do Chris Jericho versus The Undertaker or something. This was to me, this is still a big mistake. You know, the match wasn't bad. It was good, you know, for what it was. But it's just the point of, I don't think anyone wanted to see it. We got what we wanted from the year-long rivalry of WrestleMania 28. So, you know, it's just unfortunate because it made the first match a little less special. And of course we had the ending, let me see if, yeah, they do have it here, of The Rock putting John Cena over. And I was waiting for a third one at that point, which we still haven't gotten, which is interesting. But overall, this show, I'm going to have to give it a D-. That might be a little harsh for some people. I'm serious, the only reason this does not get an F is Undertaker and CM Punk. That was a fantastic match. It's the only reason I don't fail this complete show. But, yeah, D-. Let me know your opinions, what you would grade this. Obviously, I'm not a fan of this pay-per-view, and it's really hard to find people that are. So, for now, this has been the DVD Freak. Peace out.